Afternoon. Welcome to the Fedorable Chef. Your host here. Going to cook you up some chicken stuffed ricotta. Just back from a 2-week trip down in Clute in Cyprus, Houston area of Texas. It was hot, some delicious foods down there. We're going to try to cook one of the originals. This was one of my wife's favorite recipes, so we're going to start with a couple of chicken breasts. I've already pounded one out flat. I'm going to just get the other one going here quick. We'll pound it out. Make sure not to hit your fingers like I usually do. Give it once over there. Okay, we're looking good with that one. And if you don't like white meat chicken breasts, you can do it with chicken thighs. Today we're doing it with our chicken breasts. We're going to take some ricotta. Again, this is chicken stuffed ricotta. You know, it reminds me of a story. A wife was getting ready to cook dinner and her husband's there, and she says, "Tonight, honey, I want peace and quiet when I cook dinner, okay?" The husband looks at her and says, "Well, if you want peace and quiet, you're going to have to take the battery out of the smoke detector." Right, guys. So we're going to start with a half a cup of ricotta. And hopefully we're not going to have to hear the smoke detector, right? So get that, measured it out. We'll get that in our mixing bowl. We're going to add some onion powder. I just put a little bit in there, about a half a teaspoon. We'll put some garlic powder in there. Not a lot, and I'll tell you why we're not going to use a lot of garlic powder. Maybe just about a quarter of a teaspoon. And we're going to use about a quarter some oregano. All right, put that in there. The reason we didn't put too much garlic powder in is we're going to take some minced garlic. We're going to take about a teaspoon of minced garlic. Yeah, but that's about a little bit more for us that like it. So mix that up. We're going to add a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese. Now you can get the pre-chopped, which I'm using right now, or you could get the wedge, which I have in the refrigerator. You can do fresh. I've taken the time to pre-chop a lot of it, so we'll just mix it in here. You've got that going, looking good. All right. Minced garlic, ricotta. Now what we're going to do is use sun-dried tomatoes, right? We're going to cut them little pieces like this, not too big, and we're going to put those right in. A lot of people with chicken do like spinach with it. But for this recipe, we're not going to use spinach. We're going to use sun-dried tomatoes. And I've taken 3 stems of fresh basil and 3 stems of fresh parsley. And I pulled them off the stems. What we're going to do is we're going to cut those up fine. And we're going to add that to our mix. All right, a little finer. So you can already smell the parsley and the basil. There's nothing I like better than fresh cut basil. You can use it with so many things. So we're gonna finish that. We're gonna add that to our ricotta or sun-dried tomatoes. Right? Clean this up. So this is more of a dish that you would see made in Sicily. Not that the mainland, Italy and some of the areas, Naples and even Rome, they like to use sun-dried tomatoes. They might add in here spinach, like I said, some other things, but I like the garlic, the basil, the oregano. I'm not a cilantro person, but if you wanted to substitute cilantro, you could try that. I prefer the fresh basil. You can just smell it. Like, I mean, you can see we got a nice little texture going here. And we're gonna take our chicken breast, right? We're gonna take our filling, we put it on our chicken breast. Boy, that looks good. Some over here. And for you guys with the and gals with the big appetites, the one of these stuffed breasts, it's filling. It's definitely filling. So then we're going to smear it. Okay, we're going to smear it on the chicken breast. We're going to roll it up. We're going to do something to it before we roll it up. Okay, a little bit more here. And we're looking pretty good on this one. Just smear a little over here. Add a little more over here. Smear it around. Weather here is a lot cooler than it was down in the Houston area. We did meet with some relatives. A family member recently moved there, so we went to visit aunts, uncles, cousins. Some real good foods down there. A lot of seafood, Gulf oysters, which we're going to do some oysters a different way on one of the upcoming shows for you. But right now we're doing chicken stuffed ricotta. Now one more thing we're going to put on before we get ready to cook this. I've got some fresh mozzarella. I'll put the mozzarella on before we roll it. And you can just cut, get a fresh slice, just cut them in little strips like this. It's plenty. Okay. Now we're going to roll it. What I did is, it was one thick chicken breast, and cut it in half. You always start with the little side and cut upward. A little easier to do it that way, just a little tip. Now we're going to roll it. You got to be careful, you put too much on, it'll start coming out the sides, right? So we'll try not to have that happen. And when we sear this, we're going to do it with the seam side down so it bonds, right? It closes up and everything doesn't roll out. So I'm just rolling it in. I'm going to roll it nice and tight. Make sure everything's in there. And then what we'll do, like I said, we're going to have seam side down. I'm going to put a couple of toothpicks in it to hold it. It's our seam side down. Do that. We'll do that. Now we're going to go over here. Stove. We're going to take our cooking oil. And I don't know, I go about 5 or 6 times around. Make sure you got enough. Put just a little pinch of pepper in there. Hit it with a dash or 2 of salt. We're going to put it on a high heat to start with. Get the pan hot. We're going to sear it for maybe 40-45 seconds each side, and then what we'll do is we'll put it in the oven and finish it off. Now we're going to put it in the oven at 350 degrees. We're going to keep an eye on it. I think it's probably going to be maybe 15 to 20 minutes to cook. Takes that long. The oven's already preheated, so I'm going to add a little bit more. There we go. All right. Checking on the oven. Yeah, she's nice and hot. All right, we're gonna let it get hot first before we put it in there. While we're doing that, we're gonna do a little bit of the leftover spaghetti and marinara that I made for my grandkids last night. We're gonna heat that up. We'll do that a little bit on the side of the chicken just to give us something to complement it. The sauce that we've pre-made is a garlic, a cream, onion powder, parsley, chicken broth. I put some chicken broth in to thin it, and some salt and pepper, right? So there's not a lot to go on there. But folks, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the recipe online or in the post here after the video so that you can see it. But you can see this cream sauce. Let's just taste it. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of salt. All right. Very good. I think our oil is heating. What we're going to do is we're going to put our stuffed chicken breast with ricotta in. Now I'm going to rotate it to have the seam side down. Same with this one. I would get it in the pan before you rotate it. It's a lot easier to rotate. And now we're going to sear it. Doesn't take very long, so you don't want to walk away, definitely. You can hear that going, folks. Now, we're going to take cream sauce, make sure we got that going. Put that on low. We're going to put our spaghetti on low. And now I think what we're doing, I'm going to take our toothpicks out. Putting them in seam side down, folks. That's how you're going to get that seam to kind of close. It's going to close real nice. You want to make sure it's not sticking. Okay. There we go. And we're going to let them cook a little bit. Worst thing you could do is flip them too often. Not like a steak. You don't want to cook a steak too long. You put it on, let it cook one side, let it cook the other. So the flavor. The chicken, we got to make sure the chicken, of course, is cooked. if you haven't noticed, today's show, I'm sporting a new fedora. Right, usually I wear the black one, but I've got a new fedora on for you. And I'm told this is fedorable as well. So, we got our chicken. It's closing up real nice there. I'm going to put it on the side. Get it in there. You probably could stuff it with a little bit less if you want. You don't want it to come out, but that's kind of why I use the toothpick. Yeah, we'll put the lid on here. You can already smell the flavors in that. A little pinch of pepper. It's cooking real nice. The twist is the chicken with the ricotta, right? Lower the heat. We're going to go down to about medium. Now that it's starting to really sear up. You want to make sure it's not sticking. There we go. Nice. So now we're going to finish this off in our oven. Yeah, we preheated the oven to 350. About 15-20 minutes. We've already got something in there, it looks like. There you go. Folks, we're gonna top off our dinner with a nice Chardonnay. So, Sonoma County de Creme. This is my wife's favorite Chardonnay. And it's really a fair price for the flavor. If you like Chardonnays, it happens to go with this dish very well. So let's get her in there and there we go. Let's take a look at it. Now this one happens to be a 2021 vintage. It's very good. It's chilled. You always want to, with a Chardonnay, chill it. All right. Let's go back over to our stove. Our cream sauce. It's doing well. Let's check in our chicken. More minutes with that. It is looking good though. It smells good. You know, the chicken dishes down in Sicily, and my grandmother on my father's side. My father's mother was Sicilian, my mother's. from her family is from Vasto di Abruzzi region. And they both have different flavors, great flavors. They both were excellent cooks, taught me a lot over the years, as my mom did. But the ingredients you find more in Sicily. You're going to see the sun-dried tomatoes. You're going to see a lot of basil. There's always a sauce, right? When we do our sauce and the chicken comes out, we're going to just put a smear here on the sides of the plates. You don't want to put it over. Put it on a generous portion, smear it on the side so that the person eating it can decide how much or even if they want it. But our cream sauce, like I said, we put cream in there, obviously. We've done some chopped up parsley. Again, the ingredients we'll put on there, but if it's too thick, you know, you can cut it with water a little bit. No different than any other gravy or sauce. So, it's pretty good. Let's check on our leftover pasta. My granddaughters really enjoyed this. We got a meat sauce in there, just warm them. We're gonna put a little bit on the side, not a lot. The featured dish is the chicken ricotta, but little pasta. So I think we're just about 13 minutes in. Still gotta cook a little bit. All right, it's been about 20 minutes. At 350, let's check on our chicken. It looks delicious, looks done. Just check it out. I'm gonna plate it. Well, first we're gonna put the sauce on. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go like this, folks. Smear it a little more. Do the other one. Okay. We had our chicken breast. Chicken stuffed with ricotta. She's gonna be there right on there. And be careful, this pan is gonna be hot when you take it out of the oven, folks. Okay. Come over here, we're gonna add a little bit of our spaghetti. Check it out, folks. You see, we got our sun-dried tomatoes, ricotta. It looks perfectly cooked, juicy. I give my camera person, my lovely wife, her glass of wine. Cheers. Folks, we keep doing this, trying to show you some different recipes outside the box. Like I said, the traditional might have had spinach included in it. We like the sun-dried tomatoes, the ricotta cheese. And please like and subscribe. The Fedorable Chef. We appreciate you when you like and subscribe. We appreciate you when you join us. Come back to see us soon. Thanks for joining us.